Thank you very much, Minister. On to Mr. Sikand.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Minister, I'd like to actually start off by thanking you. You recently made an announcement in Mississauga for funding for transit. I think it was close to $339 million under the bilateral agreements. So thank you for that. I've heard positive feedback as it's going to help improve my way, and people in my riding use that service heavily. So turning to my question, my colleague mentioned the PBO report. And Minister, I'd like to ask you a question in regards to reprofiling. We read about the coverage of reprofiling of infrastructure funding lately, and I feel that this is something Canadians don't quite understand. So if you could please elaborate.
Through you, Madam Chair, first of all, congratulations on that funding. That $338 million will leverage close to $1 billion of investment in public transit in Mississauga. So we are proud of that. On that's a very good point and question you're asking, and we appreciate and acknowledge the report from the PBO, because this is a challenge that we have faced, and this is not a new challenge. It's the same practice that previous governments have followed. It is that once we approve a project, there's a funding attached to that project, but it takes a number of years for that project to actually complete. So we have to wait till the project is completed. Then the project proponents, which are sometimes provinces and municipalities, we have to wait till we get those invoices to pay out the funding or federal share of that commitment at the end of the project's completion. For example, we have approved a large project in the city of Calgary Ring Road. The construction is happening, jobs are being created, work is being done, and the funding that we have attached to that project has not been paid out yet. The reason is that we will have to wait till that project is completed before we get the invoices. So what we have to do is continue to reprofile that funding into future years. And that's the challenge we have. We're trying to figure out the solutions.
Thank you. Makes sense to me. If I could just circle back to the funding announcement that you made in Mississauga, could you elaborate on how the bilateral agreements tend to work?
So I take a lot of pride in the way we work so closely with provinces and municipalities and territories, indigenous communities, and many of our other partners, because this is a shared responsibility. We make the funding available. It is actually proponents or partners who build that infrastructure. So in your case, it's Mississauga who will be building that infrastructure. So in order for us to deliver on those commitments, we need to work with them. That's why bilateral agreements that we are signing are so transformational in a way that we give them the flexibility, we empower local decision making, and we come to the table as partners.